Hey there, soccer fans. Welcome back to House on the Pitch. I'm your host, Tom House, and today we're continuing a special series. These 5 episodes are going to do a high-level breakdown of all MLS teams in the league, covering 6 teams per episode. Today, we're diving into the Midwest region. We've got the history, the drama, the rivalries, and of course, the stars. We'll be talking about Sporting Kansas City, Minnesota United FC, St. Louis FC, Columbus Crew, and FC Cincinnati. So whether you're a diehard fan or just getting into the game, stick around. We'll chat about everything from their traditions to what they've got lined up for 2025. If you have any questions or comments, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com. That's houseonthepitch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Now lace up your boots and let's take the pitch.
That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class.
All right, first up, the first club we are going to talk about today is Sporting Kansas City, or SKC as the fans like to call them. These guys have been around for quite a while. They were founded back in 1995, so that's a long time in MLS years. Back then, they were known as the Kansas City Wiz. Then they became the Wizards before rebranding to Sporting Kansas City in 2011. So going from the Wiz to Sporting Kansas City, very good change in my opinion. Oh, and they're based in Kansas City, Kansas, not to be confused with Kansas City, Missouri, which happens more often than you'd think. Now, SKC has built quite a reputation over the years, being around since 1995. They've got some silverware to their name too. They've won the MLS Cup twice in 2000 and then again in 2013. And that 2013 final was an absolute nail-biter. It went all the way to penalties, and they edged out Real Salt Lake, team that we talked about in the last episode, to take home the trophy. And they've also won the US Open Cup 4 times, with their most recent one being in 2017. So yeah, this club, it's a club that knows how to get things done on a big stage. Now, getting into some of the leadership and the ownership, heading into 2025, SKC is still led by their longtime coach, Peter Vermes. This guy's a legend. He's been the head coach since 2009, which in soccer years is forever. He's known for his high-pressing style of play and his ability to get the best out of the squad year after year. Vermes is also Sporting KC's technical director, so he's got his hands on pretty much everything in every aspect of that team. On the ownership side, Sporting Kansas City is owned by Sporting Club, a group that includes some local business heavyweights. This setup has been huge for their community-driven approach, which is a cornerstone of the club's identity. Let's talk about some of the players who have made the magic happen over the years and who are making the magic happen now. So at the heart of the team is Daniel Saloy. He's a homegrown talent who's been absolutely stellar for them. And then there's Alan Pulido, the Mexican striker. When he's healthy, he's an absolute game changer. His finishing is top-notch, and don't forget Tim Malia in goal. This guy's been a rock for SKC. He's one of the best goalkeepers in MLS history, honestly. Now, digging into a little bit of the stadium detail, SKC plays at Children's Mercy Park, right in the heart of Kansas. SKC plays at Children's Mercy Park right in Kansas City, Kansas. It's an absolute gem of a stadium. The soccer-specific stadium, the soccer-specific venue, has a capacity of about 18,500, which is just a little bit below the MLS average, but still a pretty good-sized stadium for MLS right now. And it's designed to be as fan and player-focused as possible. And the atmosphere is really electric. They have the area, the Cauldron, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but the Cauldron, it's the passionate supporter section that brings the noise game after game. And here's the cool part. The stadium was built with acoustics in mind. The canopy roof is designed to keep all that noise trapped inside, amplifying chants, cheers, the drum beats. Even when the place isn't completely full, it feels like a packed house, which is kind of a dream for any home team. And it's not just the sound that makes the stadium stand out, it's the experience. Children's Mercy Park has been consistently ranked as one of the best soccer stadiums in the country. The sightlines are fantastic from every seat, so there's really no bad spot to catch the action. Plus, the stadium is a tech lover's dream. It has high-speed Wi-Fi, LED lighting, and massive video boards to keep fans connected and entertained. And let's not forget the extras. Gotta have the extras. From the team shop, packed with SKC gear, to diverse food options that go way beyond your stadium fanfare, there's something for everyone here at that stadium. Whether you're a diehard fan in the stands or someone enjoying their first match, Children's Mercy Park delivers a game day experience that you won't forget. So if you're ever in Kansas, definitely go check out that stadium. Go check out a game there. It's an incredible experience. Okay, so let's talk about their look a little bit. Their primary jersey is usually a clean sky blue and navy combo. It's really kind of nice. It's simple but classy. And their logo, it's a shield with a diagonal stripe with their initials. It's classic yet modern. The rebrand from the Wizards to Sporting Kansas City was a big shift, but honestly, it's helped solidify their identity as a top-tier club. And that switch from Wizards to Sporting Kansas City and the new logo design, it's honestly a very good look. Moving on now to traditions and cultures, the fans are the lifeblood of SKC, and their traditions are something special. At the heart of it all is the Cauldron, as mentioned before. One of the loudest, most passionate supporter groups in MLS. Picture this, drums pounding, flags waving, and the chants echoing throughout Children's Mercy Park for the full 90 minutes. These fans don't just watch the game, they live it. The energy in the Cauldron is contagious. Whether you're in the stands or watching from home, you can feel their passion. And it's not just about noise. They've built a real sense of community. Before matches, you'll find them tailgating in full force, grilling, laughing, and gearing up for the game. On match day, they bring traditions that make SKC games unforgettable. One of the coolest aspects is the victory lap. After every win, the players take a lap around the stadium to thank their fans. It's not just a quick wave either. They actually take the time. It's genuine gratitude. You can see the connection between the team and the supporters. It's a touch that makes the whole experience feel personal, like you're a part of something bigger. And hey, the Cauldron isn't the only group out there. Other supporter groups like South Stand SC and KC Blue Crew bring their own flavor to match day. Together, they create this electric atmosphere that makes SKC games feel more like a festival than just a sporting event. Now, looking at the rivalries, so talk about one of the penalty shootouts that they had in one of their playoff games. So SKC's biggest rivalry is with Real Salt Lake. It started with that insane 2013 MLS Cup final, which SKC won in a dramatic penalty shootout. There's been bad blood ever since. They've also got this budding rivalry with Minnesota United, the Midwest pride and all that. So these games always bring the heat, and honestly, it's one of the things that makes MLS just so much fun. Now, looking ahead to 2025, SKC is still aiming to get back to their winning ways a little bit here. Injuries have hurt them last season, but if Polito stays fit and the younger players keep stepping up, they'll be a force to reckon with. And Vermes, their head coach, well, no doubt he'll have them prepared technically, and if the Cauldron really steps up behind them with that fan section, they'll be a tough team to beat at home. So that is Sporting Kansas City in a nutshell. They've got history, passion, and let's be real, a coach who knows what he is doing. Sporting KC fans, you've got a lot to look forward to this season. All right, let's head up north and talk about Minnesota United FC. Yep, the Loons. They've been part of MLS since 2017, but their story goes back further to their NASL days, where they made a name for themselves in the lower divisions. Now they're repping the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and St. Paul with pride in the land of 10,000 lakes. Since joining MLS, Minnesota United has steadily built a reputation as a tough team to face both home and away. Their first big splash came in 2019 when they made their playoffs for the first time and reached the U.S. Open Cup final. That year marked a turning point for the club, proving they could hang with the league's best. In 2020, they went even further in the MLS Cup playoffs, making it to the Western Conference Finals. They've been consistent playoff contenders ever since, which says a lot about how far they've come in a really short amount of time. Now, Minnesota's head coach, they're headed up by Adrian Heath. That's their head coach, Adrian Heath. He's been with the team since they joined the MLS, so you could say he's kind of the face of the club. Heath's style emphasizes a solid defense paired with some quick counterattacks. Nothing too flashy, but it gets the job done. And now, ownership-wise, the Loons are run by a group led by Dr. Bill McGuire. He's the guy who basically saved the pro soccer in Minnesota when it looked like it might disappear. So yeah, he's kind of a big deal in that soccer community in Minnesota. Now let's get to some of the players on the pitch that you'll see out there this season. Emmanuel Reynoso, he is the guy from Minnesota. He's their creative playmaker, and man, when he's on, he's one of the most exciting players to watch in the MLS. Then there's Robin Lod, who's super versatile. He can play forward, winger, or even midfield. And let's not forget Dane St. Clair in goal. This dude is a wall. He's had some incredible performances, and honestly, he keeps them in a lot of games. Now, the Loons, they play at Alliance Field right in St. Paul, and let me tell you, this place is actually, it is a stunner. Opened in 2019, it's one of the newer stadiums in the MLS, and it's already become an iconic venue, with that eye-catching translucent skin wrapped around the outside of the building. At night, the stadium lights up team colors, creating a glowing beacon that's impossible to miss. It's not just a stadium, it's a statement piece for the Twin Cities. Inside Alliance Field, the stadium holds about 19,400 fans, so it's not the largest MLS stadium, but it is right about average for most MLS stadiums. And no matter where you're sitting, you'll feel like you're right on top of the action. The pitch itself is immaculate, kept in world-class conditions, which is a point of pride for the club. Plus, the steep seating ensures that the atmosphere stays loud and tense, especially when supporter section known as the Wonder Wall gets going. Speaking of Wonder Wall, it's a single-tier standing-only section where the most passionate fans bring the energy. After every home win, the entire stadium joins in singing Oasis's Wonder Wall as the victory anthem. It's one of those traditions that kind of gives you goosebumps even when you're watching from home. And you can't forget about the game day experience. Alliance Field has a full-on beer hall. Yes, a full-on beer hall because it's Minnesota. There, they offer an impressive selection of craft beers, many of them local because, again, Minnesota takes their beer very seriously there. There's also a ton of food options there, which is really impressive, showcasing flavors from around the world. But there's also a special focus on local vendors, kind of like with their craft beers. There's a focus on local vendors as well that highlight the Twin Cities' diverse culinary scene. The stadium is also designed with sustainability in mind. From energy-efficient systems to water conservation efforts, Alliance Field is as eco-friendly as it is beautiful. It's a point of pride for the club and its fans, showing their commitment to the community and to the environment. So whether it's your first match or your 50th match, a trip to Alliance Field is more than just a game. It's really an experience. So if you ever get the chance to head out there to the Twin City area, highly recommend that you go there, check out Alliance Field, see what they have there, go have a craft beer and some of the local foods that's at the stadium, and have a great time. Minnesota United's branding, it's unique. Their crest features a loon with a red star, and it's very symbolic of the state's culture and history. Their primary colors are black, gray, and a hint of that beautiful sky blue. It's simple but super effective branding, and their jerseys, they're very clean and sharp. Adidas has done a really good job of keeping the kits true to the Minnesota vibe. Now, we talked a minute ago about the Wonder Wall and that Wonder Wall tradition and the loud chanting. So let's go on to some of the traditions and culture there. So after every win, the team and fans come together. So the team and the fans, not just the fans, they come together to sing Oasis's Wonder Wall. I know it sounds kind of random, right? But it's one of those things that just works. It started as a joke back in their NASL days when they weren't in the MLS, but now it's a full-blown, heartfelt post-match ritual. Imagine thousands of fans belting out "You're My Wonderwall" in unison. Now, if you recall or if you know or you're aware of, there's another club over in Europe, in England, in Manchester, that does the same song. It's the Gallagher brothers are really big fans of Manchester City, so they do something kind of similar. They belt out Wonderwall at the end of their matches too, and Pep Guardiola, their head coach, and all the players, they kind of gotten into it for a long time, and the Gallagher brothers go down to the locker room a lot to hang out with the Manchester City players after games. Not sure if there's a connection there between how Minnesota does it and Manchester City doing it. I don't know if anybody's ever made that connection, but just an interesting fact. Now, there are other supporter groups too. You've got the Dark Clouds, the True North Elite, and a few others. And let me tell you, they don't mess around. These groups are the heartbeat of Alliance Field. They bring chants, drums, flags, the whole works, the whole lot of personality. You'll see the coordinated tifos, clever banners, and enough noise to shake the stadium. Their energy spills over to everyone else in the crowd, turning a good atmosphere into an unforgettable one. But it's not just about match day. These supporters are active year-round. The Dark Clouds, for example, they're known for their charity work in the community. They've helped raise funds for local organizations, hosted volunteer events, and supported causes that make a difference in the Twin Cities. So they're not just about cheering on the Loons, they're about lifting up the whole community as well, which is really great to see. Another pretty cool tradition is the loon call before kickoff, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A loud echoing of a loon call played over the speakers that gets everybody hyped up before the game. Now, my first impression of a loon call isn't something that would typically get somebody hyped up, but for some reason in Minnesota, it kind of does work. So loon call, not really the same thing as the Minnesota Viking thing that they got going on, or what they do with in Iceland with the Viking clap, the thunder clap. Not as energetic as that, but it is its own unique Minnesota thing with the loon call. So kind of another cool thing to check out if you ever get the chance to go. And really, it's the little details like this that give Minnesota United games their unique charm. So whether it's packed stadium on match day or an off-season fundraiser hosted by fans, there's this undeniable sense of pride and connection. Supporting the Loons isn't just about soccer, it's about being part of something bigger. Now, the rivalries, we talked about Sporting Kansas City in the last segment. That's one of their biggest rivals. There's just something about the Midwest matchups that feels a little extra intense. And there's also a little bit of spice going on with Chicago Fire. It's not quite there yet. I think it's going to take 1 or 2 more seasons for that to grow into something really special. But these game days, they're always something like the fans just can't miss and the fans can't wait for. Now, looking ahead at 2025, the Loons have some work to do. Reynoso is the key, and some of their forwards are kind of the key. If they can stay healthy, Minnesota's attack will be dangerous. They've got a really strong defensive core, but they need to find a bit more consistency, especially on the road, which they really struggled with in the 2024 season. Their head coach, Heath, he's been here long enough to know what works. So if you can make a few tweaks, they'll really go far doing that. So that's what's up with Minnesota United FC. They got a great stadium, passionate fans, and a legit talent on the pitch. If they can put it all together this season, watch out. They'll be a force to reckon with in the West. And if you're a Loons fan, I think you got a lot to look forward to other than just seeing Wonderwall. Could have a great playoff run this year. All right, soccer fans, let's dive into Chicago Fire FC, the Windy City. The Fire were founded in 1997, and fun fact, they're still named after the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. They're based in the Windy City itself, Chicago, Illinois, so we've got this rich historical tie in the name right there, which is pretty cool. Now let's talk about accomplishments. The Fire hit the ground running, winning the MLS Cup and the US Open Cup in their debut season in 1998, an achievement not many teams can brag about. They've also added 3 more US Open Cup titles to their name, making them one of the most successful teams in the competition's history. The club has had some legendary players over the years like Peter Nowak, Cuauhtémoc Blanco, and Chris Armas, who left their mark on both the team and the league. Now, for the 2025 season, the Fire are led by Greg Berhalter, a familiar name in U.S. soccer. Berhalter previously served as head coach of the U.S. men's national team, where he guided the squad to a Gold Cup title and a CONCACAF Nations League win. Before that, he had success coaching the Columbus Crew in MLS, leading them to an MLS Cup final in 2015. Known for his tactical approach and emphasis on possession-based play, Berhalter brings a wealth of experience to the Fire. If his vision clicks with the squad, it could spell big things for the club's future. Now, on the ownership side, Joe Mansueto owns the Fire. He's the founder of Morningstar, a major investment research company, and he's a lifelong Chicago guy. Mansueto's been all in on turning this club into a serious contender. He's invested heavily in the team, the facilities, and just overall experience for the fans. So with Berhalter at the helm and Mansueto's backing, the Fire are working hard to rise to the top of the MLS. So some of the star players now, when it comes to the talent, the Fire have a few standout names like Xherdan Shaqiri, the Swiss international. He's a big star. He's got insane footwork, creativity, and a knack for pulling off highlight reel moments. Then there's Chris Brady, the young promising goalkeeper who stepped up big time. And keep an eye on Jairo Torres, who brings a lot of energy to their attack. Now, being familiar with some Chicago teams, the Fire, they play at Soldier Field, an iconic venue. It's located right downtown Chicago, so it's not outside the city. It was built in 1924, a long time ago, almost 100 years old. Soldier Field is one of the most historic stadiums in the U.S. Now, while it primarily serves as the home for the Chicago Bears, it also doubles as the Fire's home turf. While it's not a soccer-exclusive stadium, which is kind of a bummer to see a non-soccer-exclusive stadium, it offers a unique setting with its rich history and prominent location near Lake Michigan. The stadium has been renovated over the years to include modern amenities for fans, blending some classic, some old school charm with contemporary vibe. For soccer matches, the Fire typically scale down the 60,000+ capacity, so they scale it down to a more intimate and energetic atmosphere. But don't forget about the unbeatable backdrop in Chicago, the Chicago skyline, which adds an extra layer of magic on game day. It's a setup that brings the heart of Chicago right into the action. All right, now the branding. The Fire's colors are red, navy blue, and gold. Kind of a nod to Chicago's city flag, if you're familiar with that. The blue, white, and red stars. Their logo has gone through a few changes over the years. The latest version brings back the traditional fire department badge look, which I think is kind of neat, and I think the fans are super happy about. And their kits, they've gone for clean, bold designs that really pop on the field. Now, moving on now to some of the traditions. After every goal, kind of makes sense and it tracks. You'll hear the iconic fire alarm siren, a sound that sends the crowd into a frenzy and feels like a true celebration of Chicago soccer. It's one of those touches that make the Fire games stand out. Then there's Section 8, the legendary supporter group that's been the heart and soul of the Fire fandom since the early days. Named after the stadium section they originally occupied, Section 8 is all about creating the electric atmosphere. From nonstop chanting to the drum beatings and the flags and the tifos, they bring the kind of energy that makes Soldier Field come alive. And they're not afraid to show their personality, whether it's organizing humorous displays or coming up with clever chants. Their creativity and wit, they're kind of one of the unique parts about that club. One funny story, standout story, they called out a rival team by holding up a banner that said, "Your pizza sucks," taking a jab at the eternal Chicago versus everyone pizza debate. It was classic Chicago, passionate, proud, and a little bit cheeky. The fan culture reflects the city's hardworking, no-nonsense vibe, but it also adds a flair of creativity and pride. Whether it's tailgating by the lake or rallying behind their team during tough stretches, Fire fans wear their devotion on their sleeves, and they're always ready to prove why Chicago is one of the best sports towns in the world. When it comes to rivalries, Chicago's biggest one is probably Columbus Crew. Close by, kind of a proximity thing. There's also a brewing rivalry with Minnesota United. It's a Midwest thing, though. So you have Columbus, you have Minnesota. It's just one of those matchups, that these matchups, they always bring the extra intensity. The fans really get into it, and it adds a lot of spice to the season. Now, looking ahead at the 2025 season, the Fire have some real potential. Shaqiri, he's key up front. When he's in top form, he can really elevate the entire team. They're also banking on younger players like Brady to step up and make a difference. The big focus will be on finding consistency, especially in defense, where they fell short a little bit this season, and getting some wins really at home and away, since they kind of struggled with that in the last season. If they can shore that up, they'll go really far doing that. So that's it. That's a wrap with Chicago Fire FC. They got history, the talent, and a city that really does love its sports teams. If you're a Fire fan, there's a lot to be excited about this season. And hey, if they start lighting up the scoreboard, you'll be hearing the fire alarm a whole lot more. Up next, let's talk about St. Louis City SC. The team that might be one of the newer faces to the MLS, but they've already made a big splash. Founded in 2019 and officially joining the league in 2023, they've quickly become a symbol of pride for the Gateway City. And let's not forget, St. Louis has a deep soccer history. Did you know that it was home to the players from the 1950 U.S. team that famously beat England in the World Cup? Yep, soccer is in the DNA of that city. Now, St. Louis City SC is carrying that legacy forward, representing a city that truly loves the game. So let's set the stage. Leading the charge for St. Louis City SC in 2025, it's the head coach, Brad Carnell. This guy knows his stuff. He's a former South African international defender who played in some of the Europe's top leagues, including the Bundesliga, the German league over in Europe. After hanging up his boots, he transitioned to coaching and gained a reputation for his tactical mind and ability to connect with players. Carnell's style is all about making high press. His team hustles hard and closes down spaces and forces turnovers in dangerous areas, making them both exciting and unpredictable to watch. If you love fast-paced soccer with a lot of energy, Carnell's squad will keep you on the edge of your seat. Great matches to watch under his guidance. Now, keeping things strong is ownership, with Carolyn Kindle Betts and her family are at the helm, and they're making waves in MLS. Carolyn is the CEO of St. Louis SC, and under her leadership, the team has made inclusivity, sustainability, and community engagement top priorities. She's also a trailblazer as far as the first majority female-led ownership group in MLS history. The Kindle family has deep ties to the St. Louis business community, particularly through Enterprise Holdings, the car rental agency. Their passion for soccer isn't just about business, it's personal. They've invested heavily in creating a world-class facilities, including the Sunny City Park Stadium, which we'll talk about in a second here. Their focus on connecting with the local community has made the club feel like more than just a sports team. It's a source of pride for the entire city. Talking about the players, Roman Berkey is one of the big names on the roster. He's the goalkeeper, and this guy's a wall. Before joining St. Louis, he played for Borussia Dortmund, so he's got serious experience over there in the Bundesliga in Germany. Then there's Joao Klaus, the Brazilian striker who's been their go-to guy for goals. He's strong, technical, and he just knows how to finish. Circling back around now to City Park, their stadium, let's talk about the home field. This is no ordinary stadium. It's a masterpiece, built specifically for soccer and sitting right in the heart of downtown St. Louis. Again, not one of those clubs that's on the outskirts of a city. The place holds about 22,500 fans, and let me tell you, there isn't a bad seat in the house. The designers made sure every seat feels close to the action, so you're always a part of the game. But here's the cool part. City Park is powered by renewable energy. That's right, it's as green as the pitch itself. And speaking of the pitch, the grass is perfect, designed to handle the high-paced style that St. Louis loves to play. And in a sleek, modern design and those nighttime views of the city line, you've got a stadium that's as much as part of the team's identity as their kits. Now, some facts that you need to know about the branding and culture. So, the colors are a mix of the city red and the arch steel gray and the river blue. Those are their actual color names. So, city red and arch steel gray and river blue. And not to the Gateway Arch and the Mississippi River, the things that are in and surrounding St. Louis. Their logo is sharp, it's modern, and it really screams St. Louis pride. Their kits are clean, but they've got these subtle details that tie into the city's vibe. Just check it out. And getting into the heart of it, this fan base, St. Louis City SC, has quickly developed a culture that's as loud and proud as the city itself. Leading the charge are the Louligans, so capital L-O-U Ligans, like hooligans, Louligans, one of the main supporter groups. And these folks have been hyping St. Louis soccer long before City SC even kicked a ball. They bring the energy with nonstop chants, booming drums, and colorful flags, and light up the supporter section every match. And here's a fun tidbit. After every City SC win, the entire stadium sings Country Roads. Yep, the John Denver song, in the middle of Missouri. It's oddly perfect and such a unique vibe. The Louligans even host legendary tailgates before the game, where the food, beer, laughs flow freely. It's truly a community event, and it's built on passion for the game and a love for the city. When it comes to rivalries, you got to talk about Sporting Kansas City. It's a natural rivalry. The cities are close, and there's definitely some Midwest pride at stake. Those matches get intense, and they're definitely one of those matches you want to circle on your calendar. So what's next? Looking ahead at 2025, this team's got a lot going for it. Berkey in goal, their goaltender, gives them a strong foundation, and Klaus up top, that forward, means they can score. The big thing will be continuing to refine that high press style. If they can keep building on what they started, they'll go really far doing that, and with that fan base they've got, man, they are in good hands. So that's St. Louis SC for you. They've got talent, the passion, and a city that's fully behind them. Whether you're a diehard fan of St. Louis or just looking for a team to watch in that area, this one's definitely one to keep an eye on. So go check out that stadium and that venue, watch the Stars play, and enjoy that environment. St. Louis fans, you have a lot to look forward to in the 2025 season. All right, let's shift focus now to the Columbus Crew. These guys are straight up MLS royalty. One of the league's original teams, founded in 1994 and kicking off in 1996. The Crew were pioneers in so many ways. Fun fact, they were the first MLS team to build their own soccer-specific stadium, so they have that bragging right from now on. And that set the stage for a ton of teams to follow. They're pioneers in that area. The Crew are based in Columbus, Ohio, right in the heart of the Midwest, and they've been the cornerstone of the league ever since. And they are also two-time MLS champions. They took home the trophy in 2008 and 2020. So the Crew, they know how to win, and they do have quite a good history. At the helm for the Columbus Crew is head coach Wilfried Nancy. Originally from France, Nancy has a deep understanding of the game and a coaching philosophy that emphasizes possession-based soccer. Before joining Crew in 2023, he made a name for himself at CF Montreal, where he transformed the team into one of the most attractive sides in the MLS with his smooth, methodical approach. His system is all about controlling the game, building from the back, and dictating the tempo. He's also known for his ability to develop young talent and brings out the best in his players. If you're into tactical soccer, Nancy's Crew is a masterclass on how to get it right. Now, on the ownership side, this is where things get really interesting. The team is owned by Jimmy and Dee Haslam, a power couple who have a knack for turning things around. They also own the Cleveland Browns in the NFL in Cleveland, but their role in saving the Crew is what really stands out. Back in 2018, so going back 6-7 years, when there was a real threat of the team relocating to Austin, the Save the Crew, in quotes, Save the Crew, movement gained some national attention. The Haslams stepped in and bought the team in 2019 and ensured Columbus remained an MLS city. Under their leadership, the Crew has thrived. The Haslams, they've invested in state-of-the-art facilities like the Lower.com field and the Ohio Health Performance Center, showing their commitment to both the team and the community. They're not just owners, they're fans who want to see the Crew succeed at the highest level. Their involvement has solidified the club's place as one of the cornerstones of MLS. Now, circling back around now to Lower.com field, this place is another epic stadium to see. Opened in 2021, so relatively new. It's right in downtown Columbus. It gives fans an easy access to the heart of the city. The stadium holds around 20,000, so it's slightly below the average MLS size, but right up there. But the energy feels like double that, especially in the Nordeca. More on them in a second. Now, what makes Lower.com field stand out? For starters, there's a rooftop terrace with killer views of the city skyline, perfect for pregame and halftime vibes. There's also a massive beer garden where you can grab a local brew and hang out with fellow fans. And the sound system is top-notch. Every chant, every cheer, it's amplified to create an electric matchday experience. Now, keeping things strong is their branding. The Crew's colors are black, gold, and white. Their logo got a revamp in 2021, and it's a modern but still plays homage to their roots. It's got that C for Columbus in its checkered pattern, and that's a nod to the original crest. The team jerseys are also really sharp, with clean designs and a bold accent. All right, now let's talk about the heart and soul of the Columbus Crew. Coming back to this, the Nordeca. This is a supporter section that's not just loud, it's legendary. The name comes from a mix of German and English, so it means the North Corner. And these fans bring European-style passion into every game. The drums, flags, smoke, it's all happening here. And they're also known for some of their traditions after every win, every Crew win, the entire stadium sings Can't Help Falling in Love. This started years ago and has become one of the most unique and beloved post-match traditions in the league. And the tailgate scene, it's next level. We're talking grills fired up, drinks flowing, full-on party that spills into the stadium. Now, one fun story is back in 2008, when the Crew won their first MLS Cup, the Nordeca, they celebrated so hard they ran out of beer. True story, they actually ran out of beer. If it doesn't tell you how passionate the fans are, I don't know what will. So the rivalries, circling back down to some of the Midwest rivals that happen here, there's Chicago Fire, but one that the Crew also has is FC Cincinnati. when they play Cincinnati, it's called the Hell is Real Derby, which it comes from the giant billboard on the I-71 between the two cities. These match days are heated on the field and in the stands. They have also got some history with Chicago Fire, as mentioned, but Cincinnati rivalry with the Hell is Real Derby is definitely the one to watch. So looking ahead at 2025, the Crew's got a solid foundation. Nancy's system, the head coach, his system is clicking. With some of their stars up front, they're going to be a real threat. The key will be tightening up defensively and maybe adding a few pieces in the offseason. If they can do that, they'll go really far. So there you go. You got Columbus Crew in a nutshell. They've got history, stars, and one of the best stadium vibes in the league. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just tuning in, this team's worth keeping an eye on. Let's see what happens in 2025. All right, wrapping things up today, we're going to talk about FC Cincinnati. These guys are one of the newer teams in the MLS, founded in 2015, so about 9-10 years old, and then officially joining the league in 2019. But don't let their youth fool you. They've already made a big splash. In 2023, they've won the Supporters' Shield, awarded to the team with the biggest regular season record, solidifying themselves as a force to be reckoned with. They're based in Cincinnati, Ohio, a city known for its chill, passionate supporters, and now a thriving soccer scene. Leading the charge for them in the 2025 season is Pat Noonan, who's been the head coach since 2022. Before joining Cincy, Noonan built a reputation as one of the brightest tactical minds in MLS. He spent time as assistant coach at the Philadelphia Union, a very good club there, where he honed his skills and learned from one of the league's best systems. Since taking over at FC Cincinnati, Noonan has implemented an exciting attacking style of play that's not just fun to watch, but also incredibly effective. His ability to develop players and foster a winning culture has been transformative for the team. So setting the stage a bit more with the leadership and ownership, Carl H. Linder III is the driving force behind the club's success. A prominent local businessman and philanthropist, Linder's deep ties to Cincinnati make him a perfect figure to lead this team. He's fully invested in the long-term success of the club, both on and off the field. Linder, as the owner, alongside a dedicated group of board members, has prioritized building a strong connection between the team and the community, creating a sense of pride and unity in the city. Now, shifting focus a bit to the star players, you have Luciano Acosta. He's pure magic. The Argentine playmaker is known for his incredible vision, creativity, and flair. Whether he's threading a perfect pass or bending a free kick in the top corner, Acosta is a game changer. And then there's Brandon Vasquez, a striker who's been on fire. He's a powerful forward with a knack for finding the back of the net, making him a constant threat to opposing defenses. Together, Acosta and Vasquez form one of the most dynamic duos in the league, capable of tearing apart any backline. Now, the stadium, TQL Stadium, it opened in 2021, and it is a masterpiece. This 26,000-seat stadium, so 26,000, a little bit larger than most MLS stadiums, so they did something really right there with just the size. It's one of the crown jewels of the MLS. One of its standout features is the LED lighting system that wraps around the stadium's facade, creating a breathtaking glow that lights up the Cincinnati skyline during the night games. Inside the stadium boasts a modern design with top-notch facilities for both players and fans. The Bailey is FC Cincinnati's iconic supporter section, is the heart and soul of the matchday experience. It's a safe standing area designed to maximize energy and noise, and it's always packed with fans waving flags, banging drums. The Bailey creates an electric atmosphere that makes TQL Stadium one of the toughest places for visiting teams. Other cool features include the state-of-the-art sound system, the expansive concourse, and premium seating options like field-level suites. The stadium also showcases local art and pays homage to Cincinnati's history, making it a true reflection of the city's identity. The fan culture around FC Cincinnati is something special as well. One of their most famous traditions is March to the Match. Now, you might be familiar with that from another episode we talked about with Seattle Sounders. They also do the March to the Match. A couple clubs do this, but it's where fans gather downtown before every home game and parade together to the stadium, in this case TQL Stadium. It's loud, it's colorful, and it's an incredible way to build excitement before kickoff. And they also have their own after-win celebrations. After every win, the team celebrates the Bailey Blue Salute, where players head over to the supporter sections to thank the fans for their unwavering support. This tradition began during the team's USL days and is carried over into MLS, strengthening the bond between the team and its passionate fan base. And speaking of fans, there's the Pride and Die Innistand are two of the largest and most dedicated supporter groups. They're heavily involved in creating tifos, leading the chants, and organizing community events, making them a vital part of the club's identity. Now, last segment, we talked about a rivalry. So FC Cincinnati, in this case, their big rivalry is, again, with Columbus Crew, and it's called the Hell is Real Derby. Again, the name comes from the highway billboard on I-71 between the two cities, and the matches are very intense. With both teams representing Ohio, I think there's just some bragging rights that come with being the winning team from that state. Now looking up ahead at the 2025 season, FC Cincinnati is in an excellent position to continue building on their recent success. With Pat Noonan's tactical acumen, Luciano Acosta's creativity, Brandon Vasquez's goal-scoring prowess, they're poised to be one of the league's top contenders. If they can show up their defense and add a few more pieces in the offseason, they'll be a legitimate threat for silverware. So that's a wrap on our last club for today, FC Cincinnati, a young team with a growing legacy and a stunning stadium, a fan base that knows how to bring noise. Whether you're a new MLS fan or a seasoned fan, keep an eye on these guys. They're definitely on the rise. All right, soccer fans, that's it for this episode of House on the Pitch. Check out all episodes from this series where we dive into amazing clubs in the league, giving you a great insight to their history and what they're all about. As always, email us at houseonthepitch@gmail.com and share your thoughts, questions, or comments that you might have. We'd love to hear from you. Until then, we'll see you next time on the pitch.